Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and it's that time of the year again. The day after MDX. Well, to be more accurate, it's about 2 days after MDX, and we are going to be talking about scalping. So what has changed in scalping? So just to let you know, this was the main hitter for this year's this year's Malaysian Diecast Expo. They released the Mini GT Make-A-Wish, and also let me grab it for you. This was the Kaido release for the Malaysian Diecast Expo, and of course the Fast and Furious set, which I don't have right now. So let's talk about each of these models. So during the event, Mini GT's booth released exactly about five exclusive models. Number one, the Kaido House R34 Malaysian Diecast Expo exclusive for 110 ringgit. And number two, you have the Make-A-Wish model from Mini GT as well. It is the Chrome RX-7 for 100 ringgit. And you had the Fast and Furious Supra for 100 ringgit, the RX-7 Hillside for 100 ringgit, not chrome, and you had the ASSC, which was previously released in Japan, the Antisocial Social Club R34 Kaido House, which went for 900 ringgit. You had the limited edition LTD EDN Kaido Racer, which went for, that one I'm not too sure, 400 ringgit. Sorry, I'm a bit confused about it. I'm not too sure. So those were the exclusive models. I'll try and put up some pictures for you if I want to edit the video. So basically, we all know what scalping is. Scalping is basically when someone sees the profit potential in these exclusive models, and they proceed to try and get as much as possible, and eventually they just get so much that other people aren't able to get it due to the limited quantities available during the event. And this was the most heavily scalped Make-A-Wish model. Actually, all the models were heavily scalped apart from the Antisocial Social Club R34 and the Kaido Racer. Not necessarily because they were bad models to get, but more of the fact that it was very expensive and the profit margins were really low. So yeah, profit margins do play a part in. Sorry, let me open the window because there's a bee in my room. Hopefully it exits the room. Yep. Okay, so profit margins being low didn't really justify the need for these exhibitors to, let me just put this over here, the exhibitors to hire runners. If you're not familiar with what a runner is basically someone which is hired to perform a task for a certain set amount of money, which, if I'm not mistaken, the most minimum, the baseline, was 100 ringgit. And there was this one seller right behind my booth which had about 30 runners, and you would see his booth full of the exclusive cars, the Kaido House and the Fast and Furious sets, where some people would be struggling to get even one. I just got like 2 sets because I had my girlfriend following along. Most people didn't even get any. So he had like 30, and the runners were requeuing over and over again. So he probably had close to 60 or 90. And yeah, those cars were being sold for the Fast and Furious one. During its peak, it sold for, I say peak, but it was basically just that on that same day 1 and day 2, the highest it sold for was 480 ringgit, and the lowest it sold for was 400 ringgit. And 400 ringgit, it was flying off the shelves, mostly due to the demand drives, which I've noticed were mainly driven by the foreigners coming in to, let it be the Chinas or the Americans or the British. They just came in and they just bought, like, regardless of the price, they bought at 480 ringgit or 400 ringgit. 400 ringgit, it was just flying, you know, it was being sold out so quickly. So that was a 200 ringgit profit for the resellers. And the Kaido House had a bigger profit margin. even though it was not that popular, I don't really see these flying off really quickly, although I do believe that it will be appreciating in price soon due to the fact that it's a unique model compared to the Fast and Furious being a event exclusive, and they will be releasing a what's it called, a normal release which doesn't have the blister design of the event model. So basically, this Make-A-Wish model had the biggest profit margin. At its peak, I've seen people sell it for 1,000 ringgit, and I'm not sure if that was just someone trying to drive the price up, but this guy, he went on the bids on Facebook and he just bid 1,000 immediately on 2 Make-A-Wish models. I'm pretty sure it's market manipulation, but don't take my word for it, I'm not too sure. But the easiest selling price for this was 850 ringgit, around that range, and you had even the locals buying it at 850 ringgit. So yeah, it retails for 100. So think about the profit you get from this model. So I'm just gonna talk about a few things. So the main popular argument that scalpers can give is, oh, we had to line up to get these models. If you want it for a cheap price, do want to pay, you're free to line up for it yourself. But again, from previously I've mentioned that these people are willing to line up themselves as well, but there's a lot of foul play being done during the event, such as what's it called, insider info. So some people do get to go in earlier because they are more friends with the sorry, I think I should take that back. I don't think there was anyone given special treatment, but it was more of a James Bond style, Mission Impossible style. People were sneaking in to get to a line first, especially the exhibitors. Since exhibitors were allowed to go in about an hour earlier than Fast Pass, they were the first in the regular lines. Unless they had the fast pass with them, they would be the first in the fast pass lanes. But other than that, yeah, people want to line up for these things, but it's just the fact that they are being sold out while they are lining up. So I don't think the argument that, oh, if you want it, you just line up for it, works, because it's being sold out so quickly before people are able to get it. Even if you say like when you say line up yourself first, some people do say that, okay, we mean this by lining up 24 hours to be the first ones to get in, but that doesn't really work as well, because the fast lanes are the ones going in first. Although they do split the allocations, 300 for fast pass and 300 for the regulars, the vendors still get to go in first. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but maybe there should be something else done in that regard. But yeah, the regular people didn't really manage to get this because they weren't able to get their bands early. They weren't able to get their bands early on the day. They had to line up for the bands on the day itself, where the fast pass people were able to get it a day before the event, and they were able to get 2 passes for day 1 and day 2. Yeah, so the regular people were stuck queuing for their passes, while the people who were able to claim it a day before were able to line up on the day without having to queue. I hope you get what I'm saying, without having to queue for the bands, because they got it a day before. So a majority of the queue was for the pass itself, was for the regular pass, while the people who already got the passes didn't have to queue for that, and they were just lining up and requeuing over and over again to get more Make-A-Wish. Especially that seller who had 30 people lining up for him. I'm not sure what happened. Probably he gave them all regular passes. I'm not sure he would give them all fast passes, but I'm not sure how many he got, but he didn't really show it. And this is not slander to anyone, I'm just stating what happened during the event. So next, we have this model. So the Kaido House model. This model has seen a lot of fluctuation in price. Before the event, when they just announced this model, the price was so high, like about 550, and everyone was trying to justify it. You had people who were the first to post about this model for pre-order, it started at around 350 ringgit, quite modest. But you had people going as high as 580 ringgit. And of course, you have the people in the comments saying, oh, that's too high. How can you even sell at 580 just for one Kaido house? And the seller's justification was, it's a Kaido house R34, you're gonna see a lot of people queuing up for it. Everyone's gonna be fighting for it. And number two, you're welcome to not buy it. I stated my price, which is a good way of saying it. But it kind of fuels the FOMO in it, you know, if FOMO, fear of missing out. So a lot of people see the price hiking, and some might give in to like, oh, it's we should trust these sellers. It's going to be so hard to get it, so we should pre-order from them, 580 ringgit. But during the day itself, almost everyone got one of these because even I know it. Kaido House and Mini GT models, as long as they don't say that it's a limited piece like this, a limited piece available, basically everyone's gonna get it as long as you line up. As long as you don't go at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, of course. You go at like 10 o'clock, you're gonna get one. You don't have to pay the scalper prices. Yeah, so I'm not sure if anyone managed to sell it for 500 plus. And of course, you had those sellers in their posts actively trying to sell it for 580, putting up false, sold one, sold two, sold all, thank you, all those comments. Most of it is just market manipulation. Don't get fooled by that. People try to convince that, oh, it's getting sold so quickly, because that's the thing about Facebook selling. There's no regulation. You can just comment whatever you want, as long as it's not a slur, I think. So they can just say it's sold even though it's not sold. So people are going to think, oh, I'm missing out. 580 is so cheap. I have to order now. And it sets the precedent for the market. People are going to think, oh, this is selling for 580, where it costs 110 ringgit. So people are going to see one seller, maybe it's the same seller on the alt account, selling it for 400. It's still 4 times the price in retail. But people are going to think, oh, the price of the market is 580. 400 is so cheap, I have to pre-order from this guy, even though it's still expensive. So there's that market manipulation going on. So being a scalper goes much deeper than just buying stock that people can't get it. It involves market manipulation and very, very good sales tactics to convince people to give in to their FOMO desires. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the Kaido house, and basically the same can be said about the Fast and Furious models. But in the end, the Fast and Furious sold out much more quickly. I mean, the Kaido house sold out first, but the Fast and Furious was selling much more easier than the Kaido house. I was seeing it selling off much faster. So we go back to the Make-A-Wish models. I get that it's for charity, but why would you make a charity model limited? If it's for charity, wouldn't you want to make donate as much, come up with as much sales as possible for the charity? Why would you make it just 1,200 models available? And I get that limited edition drives sales. The term limited edition drives sales through the FOMO marketing, but I don't think that's the right way to go about it. A lot of people want this model. A lot of people want to have a event collaboration model. So even if you didn't make it limited edition, I'm pretty sure it'll sell out really quickly and provide much more sales and donations towards the charity. I'm sure Mini GT has their way of has their own reasonings for the things they do, but that's just my opinion for the Make-A-Wish models. So given what I just said, the justifications that sellers give when trying to upsell a car at its price, it's really hard to believe, because as long as you should know, I mean, us buyers, we should know that if a company doesn't state that something is limited, or there's no news going out that something is limited, it probably isn't going to run out. So you shouldn't give in to your FOMO and spend 4 times the amount for an item like this Kaido house. So yeah, I know I have much more to say, but I think I missed out I think I might have forgotten some, but I think that's it. If you guys have anything you want to add on, or you think I've missed out on anything, do let me know in the comments, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.